Hey everybody, welcome back or welcome to my channel, whichever. Today we are doing something very exciting. Oh, I'm Heather, by the way, in case you haven't been here before. Today we're doing something super exciting. We're doing a designer dupe pattern, so there is no pattern to purchase or anything like that. Here's what happens. I am like out in the wild, and I will see a bag or a pouch or a backpack or something like that, and I suffer from I can make that ism. Hopefully other people do too, but I'm like, oh, I could make that. I could make that literally about everything. So here we are doing our first of probably many designer dupes, because as I said, when I'm out in the wild, I believe I can make anything. So we gave it a go, and our first designer dupe, before I show you, is it came from one of my fabulous friends, Michelle, who is always styling. She has the best bags all the time, and I first saw this on her, and it was super cute, and our kids play sports together, and it just like made sense. It makes sense like when you're on the go. And so I did want to shout her out in this video and say thank you for being so stylish, Michelle. I love you. And all right, so we're doing, I don't know, you guys know what this is? We're doing a designer dupe on the double wristlet pouch. I'm not going to show you a picture of the original, but I think you probably could figure it out. I'm sure you've seen this on people or online or in one of your ads when you're scrolling, etc., etc. But it's basically two pouches on a wristlet strap. So we have like some really cool things. We'll go over them sort of at the end. There is, like I said, no pattern to this. I am currently trying to figure out how to upload a document to my membership group. So if you're a member, basically, I will either upload a document, it will already be uploaded, or I'll find a way to send it to you, and you'll get the very crude sketches of what you need to make these bags. But I'm going to tell you all the measurements and how to make them, so you don't need that. But if you were a member, you would receive that, and that's at any level. So that's something to keep in mind. I'm going to give you the measurements and tell you how to make these without any sort of anything other than your rulers, your scissors, your fun sewing stuff. So stay tuned, and we'll go over materials and get to sewing.
Okay, so for materials, we have our, what will be our center zip exterior and interior. Now, I will link as much as I can below. If you're curious about something, please feel free to drop a line in the comments, and I'm happy to answer. So our interior is the Hex Ripstop, and this is from Soulful Therapy. This stuff is awesome. If you've never used it, you got to. And then we have two zippers, and this zipper tape is from Wonderground Fabrics. It is number 5 zipper. We have two zipper pulls. I'm gonna throw this to the side. We have our wristlet strap. This is from Emporium Threads. This little, I love, oh, it's so cute. Now we have this is a key fob, and we have a key fob tool as well here, because we're gonna need that. And this will be linked below, but this is how we're going to close off our wristlet strap. And then we have a variety of different pieces of hardware. I am not sure yet what I would like to use, so we got it all here. And then we've got these will be for our connectors, so we'll be sewing these together, and they'll be going through our little 1/2-inch D-rings. And then we have our rounded edge pouch. And so I've rounded both the interiors and the exterior, but I have not rounded this one yet. I just briefly wanted to show you, I used a mason jar and just drew on the corners. You could use anything you want. I was looking for a small spool of thread, and of course I somehow couldn't find one, so mason jar it was. But now that I have one piece with the edges, the corners that I want, I can just trace that. And so I saved the last exterior for us to just do together and show you how easy it is. So your corners could look different than mine depending on what you use, and that is totally fine. Now, if you don't want to do the measurements, do the corners, anything like that on your own, I do have a little, it's like a piece of paper, and I have both the 5x7 rectangle and our little rounded edge pouch on there. So you can just cut them out and use those instead of measuring if you wanted. And those are available in my membership. So if you click join somewhere, you'll gain access to that as part of your membership perks. So again, it's not anything fancy. It's just if you don't want to measure it yourself, then you have the option to join the channel and to get that document for yourself. So now what we're going to do, now that we've gone through all of our materials, a lot of our stuff today is from Amazon also, so those links will be down below too, like this is where I could find that. So those links will be down below too. So we're gonna head over to the sewing machine and we're gonna start off by sewing together our center zip pouch. Now, of course, we are lining today. If you are making these for a craft fair or a show, or you want to be super fast about it, another thing that you could do is just not line them. That will save time and make it even more scrappy than it already is. It's pretty scrappy to begin with, but if you don't line them, you're going to save a lot of time as well, and you could make probably twice as many. The lining isn't a huge deal. It doesn't add too much time. It's going to add more time here on our corner zip pouch because we're making a pouch than it would anywhere else. We're going to bind this, so we would bind it anyways. It's not really a big deal, but you could always omit the interior in these and make them even faster. All right, to the sewing machine we go. All right, so we're at the machine, and before we get into it, I forgot to mention this over while we were doing materials, but basically you're cutting two 5x7 exteriors. And this is just a 5x7 piece, 5x7 inch piece of exterior that's cut in half. And then we rounded the corners. So I forgot to mention that, but it's just 5x7 cuts, and we're cutting one in half to make our little rounded pouch. So I just wanted to make sure that I pointed that out. And now, before we move on to our middle zip pouch, we're just going to make our connectors, our D-ring connectors. So these are measured at 1 inch wide, and then these are just scraps, so I don't actually know how long they are. Looks like 3.5 inches, but we're not going to use that whole thing. We are just going to sew down both sides of our D-ring connectors to secure them sort of into place. And we're sewing at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. And when we get to the end, we're just going to pivot across and sew down the short side. It's not necessary, but it's easier than sort of starting again. And because these are scraps, we're never gonna see the ends. So our back stitching and all of that, it doesn't necessarily matter, or the fact that we sewed across just the one side and not both. Those things won't matter because we won't see the ends. So we're just gonna do the same thing over here. Okay, so now we have two 1/2 inch D-ring connectors. And you see they fit inside of our D-rings. Perfect. There we go. Okay. Moving on. So we cut 2 zipper lengths. I basically just cut this one at about 6 inches, and I cut the second one at a little less than 5 inches. We're gonna make a zipper tab and we're gonna do a 90-degree angle, so we won't even need all of that. But if you've seen my videos before, you know I typically cut the zippers a little longer than is necessary. So here what we're doing is we're just gonna flip our zipper so it's right sides together. We're gonna clip because we're gonna do our interior at the same time, so you could baste this first and then add your interior. And then we're doing right sides together, so I don't know if it will show on the camera or not, but there's one side that's a little shinier. Like the hexagons are a little shinier, and that's what we're going with as the right sides. Is that accurate? I don't know. But I like that side better, so that's what we're doing. All right, so now we're just sewing these on. Okay, and then we're just gonna finger press away from the zipper coils on both sides, and we're gonna do a nice top stitch. If you're using materials that you can iron, you can go ahead and do so. Finger pressing works just fine though. Okay, now we're gonna rip our zipper apart. Now the first time I saw somebody do that, I was like, oh my God, what? Trust me on this. So again, zipper is right side down toward our exterior. And we're almost making like a little circle. What is this called? A tube. We're making a little tubey. Okay. Now we're gonna put these together. And then we just want to flip our tube. And same thing, we're just finger pressing the side that we just did, and we're going to top stitch. There we go. Believe it or not, this one's almost done. We're just going to trim up any of our loose ends. So when we're finished, it'll close like this, and we're going to put our D-ring up top. But first, we need to put our zipper pull on. And so our fabric is directional, and we want this to be the top. We want our zipper to be at the top when it's closed. So we're going to come to the bottom, put our zipper on, our zipper pull on our tape. We're going to close the bag all the way through, and then we'll come back through with our zipper pull a second time. I'll show you what I mean in a second. Okay, so we're on, and I'm just pulling it all the way off. And this closes our zipper, and we're gonna put it on a second time, and then we'll just leave it right in the middle so that it's out of the way of our sewing. So again, we come down, we just open up the bottom. Okay, so now our zipper's in here, out of the way of anything that might get sewn on. All right, we just want to make sure our zipper is our zipper tape is in the middle. Okay, and then we're just going to baste these together. And we just went nice and slow over our zipper, like always. Come through and baste the other side. We have to seam rip. We forgot to add our D-ring. Okay, mistakes happen. These are easily fixable. Luckily I caught it before we added our binding. So I'm just coming in and ripping out the stitches here. So I can tell that this is the top because the zipper, when it closes, will go upwards. And so I just ripped a few stitches out. Whew, that could have been awful. Clipping some stitching. All right. And then we're taking our D-ring and we're just sticking it down in there. Whew, should have gone live. Somebody could have told me I was making a boo-boo. All right, so we're gonna put them down in there. And it's okay if you can basically pick how far down you want it to go, but you want it to just lie right over your zipper teeth. We're gonna restitch that. See, mistakes happen and we can fix them. Perfect. We're good. Okay. I'm just going to trim some of this up. And then we're also going to trim off our excess zipper tape at this point because we are going to attach our binding. So we're trimming everything so that our binding can fit. Okay. And we want to make sure that we seal our zipper tape well so that nothing happens to it. So we're just giving it a nice little burn. Okay. Again, we just want to make sure we clip any of our stitching. Now, I didn't show this at the beginning, but this is double fold bias tape. It was a large roll, but I use it a lot, so it's not really large anymore. This is so easy. Like I said, double fold, and so you just stick the middle right in. We're gonna let it overhang on both sides, and then we'll just clip it up. Okay. So if you've never done any binding before, these little pouches like this are amazing to do binding. They're so simple and it will help you feel confident in using it, and the more comfortable you get, the more you'll want to use it. I'm a big fan. Okay. All right, so now we're just going to sew our binding on. We're going to sew it on at a full seam allowance. And that's why we take our time over the zipper. I could probably use a needle change if I'm being honest, but here we are. Okay. So if you have watched me before, you know one of the things I love about binding is that you don't have to be super particular because no one's going to see what you're doing. And so then we're just going to cut off the ends. It's not going to fray on you. We're good. do the other side exactly the same way, and we're going to do zipper side up on this side also so I can see where the zipper is. Same thing. And this pouch is done, you guys. See how fast that was? Very, very simple. And this process for making a pouch, really you could, and then we're just pushing this open so we can turn it out. You could use this for just about anything that you are doing. You could increase this size to make it bigger. Just carefully turning our bag. It'll take some work to push out our corners. So we're just getting our fingers in there, pushing on our binding. Okay, and just like that, our pouch number 1 is complete. Just gotta push out this binding. It's gonna drive me crazy. All right, there we go. Okay, pouch 1, all set. So we're gonna set this to the side for now. And we're gonna start to work on pouch 2. So first things first, we need to 90-degree our zipper. So to do that, you just pull it apart and you basically, you want to fold it in on itself until it matches up on the sides. So your edges match. Basically, the edge of your zipper tape matches the edge of where you're folding. And we're just gonna baste, nope. All right, we're gonna have to use my tried and true burn my fingers method for putting these together. So you can take your lighter to the edges of the tape, and as they warm up, they will melt together enough that you can then take this and sew it. Always burn myself here, so be careful. Okay, that's one side. We're just gonna burn the other. There are so many ways to do a 90-degree zipper end. You kind of just have to watch some folks and figure out what you like. I wouldn't say that I like burning myself, but it is probably the method I'm best at. So here we are, just burning our fingerprints off, no biggie. We'll recover. We will recover. All right. And there we go. Our 90-degree zipper. We're just going to take off anything extra. Okay. So basically here what we want is to line ourselves up a little away from the edge. So it actually looks like we're pretty close to where we want to be. I'm just going to take a small bit off the back end of this zipper. And we're just going to make sure that we have about a 1/2 inch on both sides, and we do. So at this point, we have a scrap piece of fabric, and that is going to be to make our zipper tab at the end. So here we just want to put our zipper on. And good. 2 for 2, you guys. 2 for 2. I was just going to say, putting on zipper pulls, it doesn't get easier. I think you just get less aggravated the more you do it, because you know it's going to fall and make a big clank, and there's nothing you can do about it. All right. Our zipper's on. Now we want to make sure that we're burning very well here. And then since this is just a scrap, we're just going to take the piece, one part of it basically, and we're making a crease, a center line, and then we're just sewing this on. Again, it's just a very small piece that we want here, just to stop our zipper from coming off, and we don't want it to get in the way of anything that we're doing. If you're not using a thread that's the same color, just be cautious of back stitching here. I am using a thread that's the same color, so I'm not concerned. You won't see those back stitches. White on white is great for that. Okay. And then we just cut our extra off. Easy peasy. We have a little extra overhang on this side as well. We cut that off. There we go. Our zipper is all set. We're just going to find the center. Actually, before we do that, we're going to throw a little bag tag on here. I did not feature them at the beginning, but my bag tags are from Heartwood and Hyde. I just put in a new order because I'm like, whew, running low. And of course, I didn't realize I was running low. What do we got here? Let's see. Let's check this out. Oh my gosh, so cute. That's a specialty one. I think I see a pearl, like a silver, and we might go with that because we're using silver for our webbing. So Let's see what we have going on here. Ha! Yeah, okay. So we're using silver. We'll go with silver. We have gray inside. That works for me. So we're gonna throw that on really quick before we start to put our pouch together, but we're actually almost done. So I'm just taking a little bit of double-sided tape here. And just put it right in the center. This way I don't sew over it when I put the bag tag on. Just going to take one of our panels, our exterior panels. Take off our double-sided tape. And we're just going to make sure we put it away from the edge. We don't want to sew over it when we sew our little pouch together. And when you put on a bag tag, you're just top stitching around it. There we go. All right, bag tag on. Now we can go back to doing our zipper. So we're just gonna find the center of our panel here. We'll find the back center as well. And basically now we're just making a little pouch. And this becomes something that if you've sewed a bag before, you've done plenty of times. And I don't like to cut into the zipper tape, so I'm just using my air erasing marker to make the center markings on the tape. And this will ensure we have an even amount all the way around. Okay, so again, we're doing zip side down on the exterior. And then we're just taking one of our interior panels and we're making a zipper sandwich here in the same manner, attached to our zipper. So our good side is down, so our right sides are facing each other. We're just going to sew these together. And when we get to our zipper pull, we're just going to move that out of the way. Okay, so here we're going to do the same thing. We're going to press However, we're not going to top stitch across the whole thing. We're only going to top stitch where our zipper is. So we're going to start at the 90-degree angle and go to our zipper tab down here. This will help us when we sew our pouch together in our sort of final steps. It will lay a little bit better and match up better, not having sewn these sort of outside pieces together. Just like so. So from here to here, we have top stitched. Okay, and then we're just doing the same thing, matching up our centers. Right sides together. Again, just like you just did, and if you've made a pouch before, this is exactly the same process. It's just tiny. Okay. All right, now we'll top stitch. We're almost done. See how fast this comes together? All right, so we're not binding here, so we can't forget our D-ring. The other one was okay because we could open it up, wasn't going to be a big deal. We can't do that here. Just want to make sure that we are paying attention to what we're doing. Me, of course. So we also need to make sure, so this is, we're closing like this, and so we want our D-ring to be up here. So I am going to baste it on just to make sure we get it where we want it. Okay, so we want it here. So we're moving our lining fabric out of the way because we don't want to baste it to our lining fabric. And this will just ensure that it stays where we want it to. All right, so now we're doing the pouch thing. We're putting this together. So this is where we go exteriors to exteriors. And we're just gonna line up our tops. As you know, where your tops are gonna be what's important. So we wanna make sure those match. Everything else we can finagle as we need. I'm a terrible cutter, so we're off a little bit, but it's not a big deal. Seam allowances make up for a lot of the differences and like where you feel like you're off. And so see how we left these unsewn? This makes it a lot easier for us. One of the things that we want to remember is we don't want to get close to our zipper, our 90 degree, our zipper tab, anything like that. We also need to leave a turn hole in our lining, so we're gonna leave a majority of the bottom curve open. So we're gonna leave basically here to here open so we can turn our pouch. And we're gonna sew this together. We'll go probably 1/4 inch seam allowance-ish. We'll probably come in a little bit where our zipper tab is. All right, sewn together. We're gonna grab the peeking shears to go around our exterior. If you don't have these, you can make small slits, little cuts. We just want our corners to sort of fit together nicely. So just around that bottom edge there, I'm going to take a little of our seam allowance off of our corners here so that it's not so bulky inside, but not where we haven't stitched yet. All right, let's turn this out. small bag, small turning holes, so try not to use super thick material for this, or else you're gonna get quite a workout. Oh, popped off a nail, you guys. I just put those on. It's fine, we're fine. Okay. So you just want to make sure you get in here and push everything out. There we go. There's our pouch number 2, which will hang like this. So what we need to do now is just close up our little turn hole. So you just want to poke out your corners, and then you basically just put your fingers in, and it should turn in on itself. We pulled a bit on it, so okay. And then we're just going to do a straight stitch to close this up. Trim it. Do a little burn, and we want to just stuff this right back in to our bag. I don't know if you can see inside. Okay, here's our pouch number 2. So you'll see zips up top, hangs from up here. Oh yes, so cute. All right. Okay. Now we want to make sure that we burn the ends. We definitely don't want this to fray over time. This is 1.5 inch webbing. Okay, and so like I had showed in the beginning, we're using the key fob method here. Okay, so basically it's going to be in here that will make our wristlet. So you do need a key fob tool, and this is obviously larger than our tool, but that's okay. We're just going to have to do a couple of crunches is basically what I'm calling it. So within the key fob you can see that there are little teeth. It almost looks like a snake. You just want to make sure your webbing lines up, is in the middle, and then you're just crunching. And like I said, this is bigger than our tool, so we're just going to crunch 3 times, 1 in the middle and 1 on each side. You could put some glue in here too if you wanted, but typically the crunch will work. The teeth dig in a way that make it really almost impossible to take out. You'd have to really work at it. All right. We're in. Wristlet made. Okay. Now this nifty, it's awesome. I also grabbed some key rings because I wasn't really sure how I wanted it to go. I think what I would like is for one pouch to hang directly from here. And then we'll put a key ring on here. Use our screwdriver to open it up. Not our nails because we're not going to lose another one. Okay, so we have a little extra hang. Maybe we'll see, we're doing this together. Maybe we'll throw a key ring on both and see what that looks like. Basically, I mean, you can do this however you like, however works for you. I am winging it here with you together. Whatever you like. And that's one of the things that I love about stuff like this is there are so many ways to do things. Okay, there we go. So that's, all right, we're gonna go with that. Again, we're just using the screwdriver here. I'm very upset about my nail, you guys. Very upset. You know when you just do your own nails and you work hard and it's like, oh, what did I do that for? All right, let's go to the finish table and take a look.
Okay, we're done. Oh yeah. Okay, so we've got our pouch here, which has our binding in it at the top and the bottom. I love that interior. You know, it looks classy. Looks classy. All right, and then we have our rounded circle with our bag tag on it, our 90-degree zipper, our zipper tab, some goodies in there. We have this 1.5-inch strap that I am obsessed with. I think my last video tutorial featured the pink version of this, or one of the last ones, but oh, I love it. It's so shiny and cute and adorbs. Okay, and then we went with attaching one of our just key rings directly to our key fob, and we put our little, again, all this stuff is linked below in the description, so check it out. I don't remember the names of them, but I will make them clear-ish in the description for sure. Sort of in the middle, and then we attached our other bag to our other key ring to make them sort of hang at different levels, differently accessible. But oh my god, it's so cute. So imagine you're sewing, right? And you need something that people are gonna be obsessed with when you're out doing craft fairs. It doesn't take a super long time. This didn't take us long at all. We made 2 cute pouches. You can make 1 cute pouch. You could not line them. There are so many things that you could do that would save you even more time than we saved just making these. I mean, they were not long. These are not hard. They are so beginner friendly. If you haven't done curves and 90-degree zippers or binding or anything like that, these are so small that it's great for skill building. And if you have done those things, these are going to take you absolutely no time at all. You can make a whole bunch. Make yourself some money when you're selling. Or if you're like me and you suffer from I can make that itis, you can make some for yourself, your kids, your friends, your family, and then everyone will think you got a designer bag on your wrist, and you do, because you made it and you're also a designer. So thank you for joining me for this fun 2-pouch wristlet designer dupe that we did today. I hope you loved it as much as I love it. Please comment below if you make these because I want to see them. And happy sewing. I'll see you soon.